Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're sitting with my friend James Holden, who is a casting producer, and we met about 2 years ago, I want to say, 3 years ago?
Sounds about right.
You were casting, I think it was a Chase commercial.
Chevy.
A Chevy commercial,
Yes.
and he brought me in for it, and that's how we met, and we stayed friends ever since. So casting producer, what does that mean?
So as a casting producer, I oversee a specific project. The casting director might have multiple projects going on that they just put their stamp of approval on, but the casting producer is the one who has their hands in the dirt, if you will, or in the clay, kind of molding the talent to be what you need it to be.
Can you give us some examples of what you have produced in the past?
So I do a lot of unscripted work that includes commercials and television. So the Chevy commercial that you were talking about was actually one of our first big projects. It was just meant to be for YouTube, and then it went all the way to the Super Bowl.
Really?
So that was exciting. Yeah, those people.
Now I'm upset I didn't get it.
I've done a lot of unscripted television, like Southern Charm. We got the spin-offs in Savannah picked up, and Relationship.
Now, unscripted usually means reality shows.
Unscripted is a word that we use to get away from the negative connotation of reality, simply meaning that it's produced but not scripted. We never know what's going to happen. Obviously, we control the situation to make what we would like to have happen.
Okay.
But there's no script. No one is told, say this or do that.
So it's not necessarily like a Real Housewives of New York vibe. It could be kind of like an improv show as well. That's considered unscripted.
Exactly. Or even the focus group, Real People commercials would be considered unscripted.
Oh, do you do a lot of those also?
I do. That's my bread and butter.
As a casting producer, that kind of falls under freelance work as well, right? Because you have to go out and find these projects, or how does that happen? Do they come to you?
There's two different ways you can go about it in the industry. There are some people who work for a company full-time and work on multiple projects, and they're just loyal to that company. And then there's other people like myself that are freelance that just go out and bounce around from company to company.
You have your own company, right? Because
I
I still
brand.
get the J. Holden emails.
Correct, yeah. I have
I'm
my own
subscribed.
brand.
So are you working on anything now that you can tell us about?
I am currently working on my own personal projects. I've got about 10 projects in development. One just got optioned, so that's super exciting. That means the production company is taking over the development process with me attached as an executive producer. A couple more of those, hopefully, going to happen in 2018, so fingers crossed.
And this is different from casting producing, right?
Yes and no. I've always gone one step above as a casting producer to really produce for the entire show and made myself valuable in that way. So when it came time to approach these executives with a concept, I'd already proven myself as a producer. Everyone thinks that they can be a casting producer, and it's difficult. It's draining. It's, every emotion that your cast feels, you feel. So to go through an entire process at the end of a 12, 14-hour day, even if it's a game show, it's exhausting.
I think I've only participated in 2 game shows, and they are so much fun.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. This other side of me comes out, this super competitive, aggressive side that I'm not connected to at all unless I'm on a game show and I'm like, I want to win! I don't know what happens. So you said that one of your shows has been optioned. Is that something you can talk about?
Not really.
Damn it! Can you talk about the other one that you said that you're working on right now, that you're working on getting produced?
No.
You can't talk about anything.
Because then someone else could go out and do it quicker without me.
There's a sniper on the roof right now.
There is. If Jason says one wrong question...
Oh no, my back is all of a sudden sweating.
I'll give you the exclusive when it sells.
Yes! You heard it here first, folks. So out of the projects that you can talk about, is there one that stands out that maybe it was difficult to produce, or you had a lot of fun producing it?
So one of my favorite shows that I got to produce was called Suddenly Rich on TLC.
Okay.
And this is a show about people who came into a huge amount of money unexpectedly.
How did they do that is my question. Because I'm trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it couldn't be anyone that had, set out to find this money. It couldn't be a treasure hunter. It couldn't be a lottery player. It had to be, I was digging in my garden and found a tin can full of coins that were worth $10 million. You know, so how do you find someone like that? Was the question we had to figure out.
And it's not. I would assume it's not like a regular TV show where you just like audition actors, and there's so many actors readily available in Los Angeles.
Well,
how do you find people like that?
That's the difference between unscripted casting and scripted. Is if I want a shaggy-haired skateboarder to play 24 in a, you know, Apple commercial, I can post on one website and have 1,000 submissions overnight. If I want an off-grid polyamorous mega family,
what?
You know,
have you actually had to look for?
I've actually found them, yeah. So in the case of the off-grid polyamorous mega family, we nailed down some regions that we were looking for, found every town in that region that had less than a population of 1,000.
I feel like I know what region you're talking about, but I don't want to be
The Pacific Northwest?
Yeah.
We found all these tiny, tiny small towns and called the local gas station, the local feed store, the local tractor supply store, places that even if you're off grid, you occasionally come on grid to grab a spare part or something. And literally just rolled thousands of phone calls. And that's what it takes sometimes. People are scared to pick up the phone and, you know, they say, oh, I'm a casting recruiter, I'm a casting producer. And it's like, no, unless you can approach someone on the street, unless you can talk to a total stranger and say, tell me your life story, you don't have what it takes.
Wow, that sounds a lot harder than like regular casting for scripted TV shows.
It is. And in the case of Suddenly Rich, some of these people had paid private detectives to make sure they couldn't be found. And we found them.
So how do you convince that type of person who just does not want to be on television? Is there like a large monetary value that you attach to the project for them, or?
So there's rarely ever a big lump sum that you're going to get up front if you're smart about it, like Snooki, for example. You can obviously make a career out of being on unscripted television, but no, I'm not calling anyone offering them $10,000 if you do the show. Even really popular shows, Vanderpump Rules, Southern Charm, you know, those guys aren't getting rich based on their appearance fees. What they're getting money from is plugging their own businesses or plugging their own brand, if you will. Wearing someone's t-shirt, you know, on camera, they might get 10 grand for, but they're definitely not getting 10 grand just for that episode.
So in the case of someone who's like the coin people that found it in a tin can, where they don't really, I guess, have a business to plug, how would you appeal to someone like that to be on television?
I promise it's going to be a lot of fun.
And it worked?
For them, no, it didn't. We never actually even got to speak to them. It was always their lawyer.
You mentioned you wear many more hats than just casting producer.
Yeah.
So what is your dream job? What job would have to be offered to you where you're like, yes, this is it. This is what I've been working for. I've made it.
So my dream job wouldn't be a job. My dream
would be to find a tin can full of $10 million coins.
That's everyone's, yeah. No, I would love to be able to just create and develop and just sell. You know, I always want to stay with my projects, so I would still stay on for everything I sold to make sure that it stayed within the bounds of my vision. But the goal is to not have to work for someone. The goal is to work for yourself. And the way to do that in this industry is creating content.
Okay, well, thank you for coming onto my YouTube channel. I feel like I learned a lot about what it takes to be a casting producer now, and I hope you guys did too. I will have James's email links below if you want to reach out to him for whatever reason, or if you want to get on his email list and start receiving casting notices. That'll also be in the information below. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and come back next week for more videos. See ya!